Hi everyone, this is Tanya with Flying Dog Studio. Thank you so much for joining me as I work in my experimental journal. And if you haven't seen my experiment journal before, this is it. Let's take a look at the brushes I have today. Most of these are Winsor & Newton. I have my wash brush there. This is my 13mm brush, and then I have a couple more here that are the round brushes, a size 3 and a size 6 round. I'll turn them there in a minute. There you go. I have those. And I also have from the Royal and Langnickel Zen series a size 8 round. Now that holds a little more water than those other round brushes. I have a microfiber cloth and then some water. And in this little experiment, we're going to be using the Derwent Inktense along with the Kuretake Gansai Tambi. I'm still seeing how all of my other supplies work with this. Now, we won't have that color in there. Instead, we're going to have the gold. If you watched my videos before, you know I have switched that out. So let's pick out a pencil to get started. And the one I decided to start with, and we're going to add another one to this, but we're going to start with the indigo. And much like a video that I did several weeks back where I had a loose drawing of a flower and then it came back on top and put the Derwent Inktense, we're going to do that here, except we're starting with the Derwent Inktense. So to that dark indigo, I'm going to add fuchsia. And you're not seeing the whole coloring process here, but believe me, I did fuchsia over the entire thing. I'm coming back with my mop brush. And this is something I'm doing a little bit differently. I needed a lot of water on this because we are going to pull out our shapes. Now, in the video I did several weeks ago, we did a wash like this, and then we came back and I put some white gouache on top. We're not going to do that in this. We're going to be using that Kuretake because I want to see how it compares to gouache. And since this is a completely different type of project than the flower, I'm going to need a lot of water in order to pull my shapes out. As I said earlier, I don't have the pin lines to use as my guide for the paint. So I'm gonna have to kind of make my own guide freehand with a clean brush. Now this is just my 13mm flat brush. I'm dipping it in the water and you'll see me tap it up at the top. That is getting extra paint and extra water out of the brush, and it's actually pulling some of that Inktense off of the paper. Now if you've worked with Inktense or if you've heard me talk about it on here, then you know once it gets on the paper, it's on the paper when it's dry. But while it's wet, we can work with it just a little bit. You can see though, unlike watercolor that you can go ahead and pull it off while it's wet almost back to the paper, on this it's already a light blue, so it's already stained that paper. And I don't know if you can tell at this point what it's gonna be, but it's gonna be an ocean scene. So I'm pulling out the clouds, and this is the water coming for us. And now I'm going to use some Q-tips. And what you didn't hear in the background, because as you know I voice over this, I was saying to my daughter, can you bring me a couple of cotton swabs, because I forgot to pick those up. So she brought those in to me. She's so good to help me out on things. I know I talk about her a lot on here, but she brought those in for me so that I can go ahead and kind of pull some more of that off of the paper. And it looks like I'm scrubbing pretty hard. I didn't notice that until now. I'm really not scrubbing that hard. And this brush has a little bit of water in it, and you can see I now have a horizon line. So what I did was take the paint that's down below with that wet brush, and I kind of pushed it up where I wanted it to be, and then I was able just to draw that line all the way across. I'm just loosely getting some areas in here. I'm not looking at a reference picture, guys. This is simply another one of those pieces that I pulled from my imagination, but also from memory. So every time that we have been to Florida, it seems as if there's a rule that at 3 p.m. every day, without fail, there has to be this storm in the ocean. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just getting some kind of loose waves in here. I want to add a little of the white caps to those waves, and we'll do that in a few minutes. But first, we need to let it dry. So this is several hours later. This is one of those projects that I work on and then I go do something else and then I come back later because I'm busy doing things. And we're bringing out our Kuretake. So you can see the loose image in my background. I'm going to use the Kuretake to kind of define those shapes and to give us some highlights. And I found that the Kuretake behaves much like the gouache. It's going to soak into the paper and I'm going to have to keep putting it on, and I'm doing it lightly at first because when you're painting from those pans and I've just dropped the water in, you want to get them wet first and then paint from that. So that's what I'm doing. But as the water sets in it, of course, that all gets really soft and you have to be careful not to dig down into the paint. But I do need some really thick paint in some of these areas, almost as thick as gouache, and I was hoping that this would work for me. So hang on to the end and I'll tell you what I think. If I think this is going to work better than gouache, or if I'm going to go back to my gouache for my next project. But at this point, I'm really kind of liking the way the white is working for the clouds. And I'm hoping that it stays bright up there. It does kind of sink into the paper, and I am going to have to go back and keep reapplying. But for the most part, I would say this feels much like the gouache. So if you're kind of on the fence, and I use Winsor & Newton gouache. If you haven't watched my videos, I'll link all those down below. The flower piece that I did, in case you haven't caught that, so you'll know what I'm talking about. You can go back and catch that. And all of these products that I'm using today, I'll put the links down below where I opened them. I saw someone recently and I deleted the comment. I mean, if you're going to leave a snarky comment, sometimes I will leave something snarky back, but many times I will just delete it because it's nonsense and I don't have time for that. But someone actually posted on one of my box openings from some time ago when I was trying out a product. Someone had made a comment, thank you, this was so helpful. And this person said, you just watched a commercial for that. These people get paid for doing this. And I'm like, if only I got paid for trying out these products. I pay for these products with my own money, and nobody sends me anything. This is all made. Now, I will put links down below, and some of those are affiliate links. So if you purchase from an affiliate link, because affiliate links are companies that YouTube partners with. So if you purchase from one of those, then I will get like a small commission off that, but it's at no charge to you. So none of these am I really making money on, guys. So, and if I find them where it's cheaper than putting an affiliate link down there, look for those links because those will be down there as well. So always do your own research. You don't have to buy from the links. At any rate, I will have those videos, those non-commercial videos down there for you to watch. And you can decide for yourself if you like the way the gouache performs or if you like the way the Kuretake performs. At this point, I'm realizing I need to add a little bit of the indigo, and I thought it was great that I could use indigo on both. And the indigo over here on the Kuretake is, I would say, it was almost like a Payne's gray. It's nearly a Payne's gray. I think it's a little more blue than black, but it's just almost a Payne's gray. It is darker than the blue from the Derwent Inktense, so that was good. I thought they worked well together. It kind of gave me a medium blue and then a dark blue, and then where I pulled the color off, there I have my light. So this is giving me some good range of color for doing a monochromatic piece. So like I said, you do have to be careful if you're going to be painting from the wells like this, and that's how I decided I wanted to do it, just to paint from the wells. But you'll get globs just like that. If you do, just wipe your brush off, get a little bit of water on it, and drag that around. Now, one thing I found on this, I did have to stop, so you'll see breaks occasionally. I do have to stop and let it dry because doing this method, your paper's going to get super wet. And as we know, if paper gets wet, it's going to melt. I don't want to compromise the surface of the paper. This paper has a sizing in it that allows it to accept watercolor and allows it to, be manipulated quite a bit with paint without completely, destroying the integrity of the paper. But you do have to be careful. Allow it to dry occasionally. I'm going to be going back and forth between my brushes. If you see that I have that dark handle brush, that's the Roll and Lane Nickel, and as I've said in other things, that really allows me to get a bit more water on my paper. And now I am using the Winsor & Newton brush to get those white caps, which are about to disappear in the background. That's just what it's going to do, but it gives me a little bit in there. But these do not hold as much water, so I'm able to pick up more paint and control the amount that I have in these areas. Now, speaking of areas, the wave that I'm working on in the front, I decided I wanted to put a little bit of water on my brush here and pull up a little bit to put, how the waves kind of wrap over and come down. That's what I'm trying to depict here. But what I found was that the Kuretake was really not helping me with this. So I put it on very, very thick there. And I'm really trying to get where the wave is slightly crashing on the shore. So we're not going to see any of the sand. We're just seeing the water. And that's what I'm trying to do here. And this is one of those areas that I was talking about that I'm going to have to let it dry. So I'm going to let that dry while I work up at the top. This was one of those days, if you've watched my videos before, I like to work by a window and have my window open. And, down south in the summer with that hot air coming in, it doesn't take long for things to dry. Unfortunately, today was a day when I painted this that not only did everybody have to mow their yard, but the field across the road where the horses live, they decided it was a good day to do some bush hogging. So I'm assuming they're going to make some hay, but what it did for me was give me a hoarse voice for the voiceover and kept my art from drying quickly. So I'm trying to work on some areas and I'll let that dry below. And you're not going to see it, but I am going to have to let it dry off camera. We'll just piece it all together here, but it needs to dry in order for me to add some more paint on top. The top part here where the clouds are has had a little bit of a chance to dry, and you can see that white is sticking a bit more. So that's one of the tricks to it that I found for this. You have to let the paper dry. It cannot be damp. Otherwise, that Kuretake is really going to sink down into the paper. And I hated to use it so thick. I thought, I feel like I'm wasting the product when I'm doing that. So perhaps, considering that, maybe it would be better to use gouache, since my gouache comes in a tube, instead of using the Kuretake. But the Kuretake is so much like watercolor, yet it's also kind of like gouache, and I just thought this would be a good opportunity to try something a little bit new. Now, this whole area down here is the bane of my existence. Like I said, we've given it some time to dry, but I just can't get it bright enough, and we're going to talk about that at the very end. I'm still kind of on the fence about things because I have a project. The reason I'm doing this, I have a project I want to do with flowers again, and instead of doing it monochromatic, I kind of want to add some color to it. I'm not exactly certain how I want to do it, but I thought I'll try this to see how it works because I like the colors in this set of Kuretake, and it would prevent me from having to pre-mix colors with the gouache. I could just use it straight out of the palette. So that's why we're doing a little experimentation here. So now I'm trying to add some dark underneath to hopefully make the white do some popping. But again, this is going to sink down into the paper. So I'm just going to keep working with it here. Something I do want you to notice, and again, we'll talk about it here in just a few minutes, but there we've let everything dry, and you can see that it has really sunk down into the paper. I think the clouds are staying better, but if you look at the overall picture. And everybody's monitor is different, whether you're watching this on a computer or a television, if you're watching it on your phone. Everyone's colors are going to be different depending on what device you're using. So yours may look a little bit different than mine, but I can tell you in person and on my screen, I'm using an iPad. So on my screen, I used that fuchsia with the dark indigo at the beginning. And now that we have pulled some color up and I'm putting some of the other color down on top, I can see that fuchsia coming through. So I'm wondering if that actually soaked into the paper more than the indigo did. Even though I put it on last and then activated everything together, it seems as if I have a little bit more of that pink showing through, and I don't hate it. I kind of like it. It didn't hurt my feelings one little bit. Now I'm getting excited here because I like the way the white is applying to this wave. But friends, it doesn't stay, and that makes me sad. So I'm also thinking that if I really want something to stay, because, gouache, if you followed along with that painting with the flower, the gouache kind of did the same thing. And I told you I'd tell you at the end of the video, and we're getting toward the end here, this more so than the gouache soaked into the paper. So it made me sad. I guess I'm going to go ahead and try this on my next piece, but I'm not certain. I think I'll keep gouache on standby just in case. Now, something I will tell you about these, I want to try to do a little splashing of paint on here, like water splashing. I thought we're just going to try a little bit here. I could tell it was not, this does not splash well, not like watercolor. I think maybe if I used a little more water, it might have done better, but all those little dots sink in. So if you're going to try it, don't. I've got another loose piece that I painted coming up soon, and you'll have to watch that one because I used red for splatters, so you can only imagine how that turned out. But yeah, you'll have to watch that one. Now, I am applying the gold. Why am I applying the gold? Because I wanted to. Every piece but one in this has gold on it, and I thought, why not? It seems as if this has become a landscape, a loose landscape sketchbook, and it seems as if every landscape I use this gold in some way, shape, or form. So I thought, we're gonna do it on here too. It doesn't show up as much in the video as it does in person, but I can tell you it's really shiny in person. You can kind of see that it's shining, and in person I really, really like it. So here I am coming back, adding a few more dots here and there and making sure they're a little bit thicker. I kind of want some of that spray, some of the light shining off of the water. There's not a lot of light because we do have a storm coming in off the sea, but I did want a little bit of light and a little bit of those water splashes. So if you have made it to this point of the video, then you have made it to the end. Thank you so much for being here. And if you are new, thank you for stopping by. I hope that you will subscribe and join the channel. And if you're always here, guys, I'm happy that you're here. Let me know in the comments below. Give me a roll call and let me know who showed up. And there is the final piece. A little bit lighter than what I would have liked, but I learned a lot. I hope you will join me for the project I have coming up where I'm going to use this technique and use more colors. It's not going to be monochromatic. And until then, my friends, I will see you in the next one.